Did you notice a difference on the court in Blair's play versus the other girls?
Oh, 100%. I mean, anyone, you don't have to know volleyball at all. You could come and sit and watch one of our games. And it's so obvious that there's so much more power and strength behind that swing. I mean, you go watch a male game and a women's game, there's a complete difference. There's a reason that they're separate. So if you come and watch our games, it's the same thing. Like, there
That's
is
Blair
a
spiking the
massive
ball.
difference. There is a massive
How so?
difference.
Explain for the
if you just watch this.
non-volleyball observer here. What are we seeing? Why is that extraordinary with Blair spiking the ball?
You just can see how high Blair is jumping. I mean, he's swinging over the block against anyone that we're playing. And then it's not just a hard swing, it's a hard swing straight down. Like, that is undiggable. And for people who don't know volleyball reference, digging is just playing defense against a hitter. Like, these swings are just, you're unable to stop it. And so it's just an insane difference, and not just the power, but the ability to even keep the ball up.
Right. Just last night, Blair played in a game and spiked a girl in the face. Here it is. Watch.
They'll have to continue to look forward as they trail by 10 points here. Fleming!
Right there. Hits her in the face, and the announcer would go on to comment on how the girl's face was turning pink from the hit. That's not the first time that Blair's
Fleming
extraordinary
with a
abilities.
Massive blow from the back row and a good job getting it back up. Kira Heron has some pink in her hair, and her face is starting to look like she's matching that, as obviously took the contact, but also got to feel a little embarrassed as she's trying to laugh off that last ball.
Aw, right. I think he nailed it. She's embarrassed, and she's trying to laugh it off. And it wasn't the first time that even the announcers noticed a difference in Blair and the way Blair plays. Here's another example in SOP 50.
Her vertical is, in this match, unmatched. Blair Fleming, ladies and gentlemen, might be the most impressive athlete on the floor tonight.
Not any of the women, the man posing as one. So that seems to be just a couple of examples of them seeing what you say you experienced firsthand.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So did you feel safe in playing like with Blair on your team? Like, I assume you kind of scrimmage, I don't know what the word is, against one another in practice and so on. Did you feel like you were safe?
Oh, no. I mean, I think it's noticeable now for anyone that can go and, like, our team has access to film that you can go watch for practice. And you can just see girls the entire practice having to dodge out of the way of a swing. So, like, just in that video that you showed, we're not getting slammed in the face. And I don't feel safe. I've gone to my coaches and I've said I refuse to play against Blair if there isn't at least a block up, which, if we're being honest, doesn't really make a difference for anyone. But
what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you
girls, if there's no block up, then Blair's just going with no one up at the net, just openly swinging.
Oh,
so at
you're
least
saying
if
so.
there
So
is
a way
block
of
up,
minimizing the
there is
danger
hands.
would be to put girls along the net on your team on defense against Blair.
Yes, and there's times in practice, even if there is a block up, people are still getting hit in the head. People are still dodging Blair's swings. It's not safe. And it's talked about all the time. We don't feel safe playing defense against Blair. Because again, the power is just unmatchable for any woman. It doesn't matter how good of or bad anyone wants to say that Blair's play is comparatively to some of the top players in the NCAA. They're amazing players, but again, the power behind this swing is just so different. And if you're not completely prepared for it, you will get blown up. And that's the scariest part, because that could end your career.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware of Peyton McNabb in North Carolina, a young volleyball player who did play against a male who was posing as female and suffered permanent nerve damage and brain damage. And she's been outspoken about it since, but she's only 16 years old, and they allowed this to happen to her. So there is real risk. There's genuine danger to you. Like, what did your parents say? What did your family say when they realized the school had placed you in this position?
My parents were enraged. I mean, you can only imagine.
Yeah.
It's like you're sending your child off, putting them in the hands and trust of these coaches to basically take care of you and be able to relay like life decisions and everything through them. And then come to find out that they said all these things like, bring Brooke here, we'll care for her, we'll love for her, and lie about a man being on the team and allowing me to move in with a man on the team.
Oh.
After knowing everything that I'd been through personally with my past in volleyball. So they could not have been angrier about the whole situation. I mean, rightfully so.
I feel for them entirely and would have shared the outrage. So you now are faced with this information, and most people, even Riley Gaines, who I know we both love, in the moment did not say anything, because everything's on the line. You work so hard. She was at the NCAA championships and they were screwing her over. So in the moment, I think an athlete's instinct is, I'm tough. I am trained to suck it up. I play through pain. I play through a lot. That's how you become a champion. So how are you able to get around that great mentality and seek a higher goal, which really is what you're doing, to say, this is morally wrong?
Mm-hmm. I mean, so we've had so many meetings about all of this with the media people from our school, with admin, compliance, everyone. And from the beginning, when we had that first meeting, it was when the first article came out about Blair being trans and basically saying, don't tell Blair's story. If people ask about it, it's not your story to tell, no comment. Like it's probably best if you don't make a comment. And with that being the first meeting, no one really made comments about it. We all just kind of left. And it was just this feeling of like, what about us? Like there's 18, 19 other women on this team that are having to deal with this and the backlash, and then also having to mentally go through the fact of finding out that this is a man we're playing with, and that it's connecting all the puzzle pieces of why Blair played so differently. And I think over time, I just got so fed up with this like heavy feeling of they don't care about us. And they're not doing anything to protect us. They only care about protecting Blair, which I don't understand. No one else understood. But it was like, there's so many things that everyone else is going through having to deal with this, but yet don't make a comment. Your feelings don't matter. Don't tell Blair's story. It's not your story to tell. And I think I just got so fed up with that because everything in my body was like, this is so wrong. And nothing about this is right. It's not fair. It shouldn't be happening. And so when I got the opportunity and got reached out to by Icons to join the lawsuit, I sat in it for a minute and I was like, I never want anyone else to have to go through what my team is having to go through right now. I mean, these girls grow up, again, just wanting to play D1 volleyball. It's your dream. And now we're to the point where we're barely talking about volleyball and we're only talking about how to deal with the outside noise of all of this and how to handle it and how to deal with it. But we don't have anyone in the school really telling us how to do those things, just telling us to be quiet and be happy and nothing's going to change. And so I think at the end of the day, I just got so fed up. I was like, I want to be able to make this change for other people coming into collegiate sports.
I am so sorry that this happened to you. This is so wrong. I know some young volleyball players who have given everything. They're on that court all the time. And I know what it takes to get Division I volleyball. Like, that's a dream. That's a dream. You have to work so hard for that. And then to have this thrown at you, you must endanger yourself. You must suscept yourself to possible brain damage, nerve damage, physical harm in the name of equity or some other unstated goal. It's deeply immoral. It's unsafe. All I can think of right now, and by the way, for those just tuning in, we're talking to Brooke Slusser. She is the co-captain of the San Jose State women's volleyball team right now. And she is speaking out about what this school is doing to her and the other girls and the girls in the league by refusing to pull a male player who is pretending to be female. and instead forcing them all to play against him. All I can think of is Megan Rapinoe, one of the most well-known names in women's sports, who said, and I quote, "Show me all the trans people who are nefariously taking advantage of being trans in sports. It's just not happening." What would you like her to know?
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just not right. Like, again, male and female, there is a reason there's men's sports and women's sports. That didn't start just for nothing. So there's, at the end of the day, if this is going to keep going the way it's going, why wouldn't coaches just recruit a full team of men if they're allowed to be in women's sports? I mean, you would obviously win everything.
It's a no-brainer. Exactly. As long as they're willing to put on a skirt and say they're not male, they're in. And I mean, there's money attached to it. There's bragging rights attached to it. Universities pay millions of dollars to get the right recruits and make sure that the university is built up to have winning sports teams. It helps with donations, with alumni. There's a lot of money riding on it. Why not? Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.